In Germany, football isn't just a sport, it's a way of life, it's tradition, it's passion, it's an obsession. And yet, zoom out across Europe, and a familiar pattern emerges. A few dominant clubs at the top, and the rest fighting for relevance. It doesn't matter what colors they wear, how many trophies they've won, or how deep their roots run. What the biggest, most commercially successful teams tend to share is location. They're almost always based in major metropolitan hubs. It makes sense. More people means more fans, more money, and over time, more influence. Simple logic. Take a closer look at Germany's football giants. Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, and Bayer Leverkusen. Three clubs that have built their names over decades, aren't just blessed with talent or tradition, they're also perfectly placed. Munich is a national hub for finance and innovation. The Ruhr area, home to Dortmund, is one of the most urbanized regions in Europe, and Leverkusen operates in the industrial heartland of North Rhine-Westphalia. These locations offer a unique blend of population, investment, and visibility, key factors in sustaining success at the highest level of German football. But up in the north and out in the east lie Germany's two biggest cities, Berlin and Hamburg. Together, they're home to over 7 million people, rich in history, culture, and urban energy. They've got the size, the infrastructure, the global appeal, everything a football giant should need. And yet, neither city has produced a true powerhouse in modern German football. Why? This isn't just about city rivalries, it's a deeper tale of culture, geography, and a divide still echoing in the Bundesliga today. To understand why northern Germany lacks a true football superpower, we need to go back, not just to where football arrived, but to how it was received. In the north, cities like Hamburg, Bremen, and Berlin, football came early. By the 1870s and 1880s, English merchants, sailors, and students were kicking balls through portside parks. Clubs like Hamburger SV, 1887, and Werder Bremen, 1899, formed earlier than many southern giants. Berlin, by the 1890s, was a booming metropolis, modern, influential, and brimming with cultural energy. So why didn't these cities become football empires? One reason lies in how their size and culture interacted. In northern Germany, Turnen, German gymnastics, reigned supreme. It wasn't just physical activity, it was a nationalist cultural movement rooted in the Prussian ideal. Founded by Friedrich Ludwig Jahn in Berlin, Turnen shaped the North's identity. These clubs were socially and politically powerful. Contrast that with the South and West, Munich, Dortmund, Stuttgart, Gelsenkirchen. These weren't necessarily bigger cities, but they were denser, tighter, and built on community. By 1939, the West had 15.8 million people. The South, primarily Bavaria, had around 12.6 million, and the North, including Hamburg, Bremen, and Berlin, tallied a comparable 13 to 14 million. Berlin alone boasted over 4 million, Hamburg 1.2 million. On paper, the North was massive. So why didn't this translate into footballing dominance? Because numbers don't tell the whole story. The North's population was fragmented, socially, economically, and geographically. Rather than tight-knit industrial communities rallying around a single club, the North had sprawling cities with scattered loyalties and limited working-class football traditions. It had the headcount, but not the cohesion. The industrial cities of the Ruhr had fewer people, but louder stadiums and stronger identities. And that's where politics stepped in. In 1933, a new regime took power, and they needed symbols, clubs that fit their image of a strong, unified Germany. And they didn't turn north, they turned west. The Nazis centralized German football, folding regional competitions into a nationalized system. They favored clubs from industrial heartlands, places that mirrored their vision of discipline and strength. Schalke 04, the People's Club, became a regime favorite, clinching 6 national titles between 1934 and 1942, with working-class support in Gelsenkirchen. Berlin's fractured clubs were sidelined, and the North slipped into the shadows, deepening the Southwest's dominance. After 1945, Berlin lay in ruins. 40% of its population fled. The Berlin Wall rose in 1961, trapping West Berlin inside East Germany. Businesses and sports institutions fled west. Football in West Berlin withered. Hertha BSC struggled with travel restrictions and a 1960s scandal over illegal payments, leading to relegation. In East Berlin, Berliner FC Dynamo, backed by Stasi boss Erich Mielke, won 10 DDR Oberliga titles from 1979 to 1988, but collapsed post-1990 reunification. Since returning to the Bundesliga in 1997, Hertha became a mid-table club, cycling through over 20 coaches from 2000 to 2023. Lars Windhorst's €375 million investment promised a big city club, but mismanagement and overpriced transfers like Christoph Piontek for €24 million led to relegation by 2023, with €90 million in debt. Berlin's growth didn't match its football, but Berlin wasn't the North's only hope. Hamburg seemed poised to succeed. For decades, Hamburger SV looked like the North's great exception. In the post-war era, HSV dominated the Oberliga Nord, stacking titles through the 50s and 60s. When the Bundesliga launched in 1963, Hamburg soared, champions in 1979, 1982, and 1983, crowned by a European Cup triumph over Juventus in Athens. They called HSV the dinosaur, never relegated, always present. The city had a massive port, over 1 million fans, and financial backing. Names like Felix Magath and Kevin Keegan brought prestige. HSV led commercially with a Campari sponsorship in the late 1970s, becoming one of the first German teams to sign a shirt sponsorship deal. But by the 1990s, cracks appeared. Star sales, chaotic leadership, and 11 managers from 2010 to 2016. Even billionaire Klaus-Michael Kühne couldn't halt the spiral. Relegated in 2018, HSV now drifts in the second division. So is this really just the story of two fallen giants, Berlin and Hamburg? Not exactly. Because when you zoom out, something bigger comes into focus. Since the Bundesliga was founded in 1963, northern Germany has never truly secured a firm place at the top. Despite its population and deep footballing roots, the region struggled to establish a lasting presence among the elite. Only Hamburger SV and Werder Bremen were Cold War mainstays. Hertha BSC and Eintracht Braunschweig appeared briefly. That early imbalance wasn't just symbolic. From 1963 all the way to 2024, the entire north of Germany has managed just 9 Bundesliga titles. The north has just 9 Bundesliga titles. Werder Bremen, 4, HSV, 3, Eintracht Braunschweig, 1, VfL Wolfsburg, 1. That's it. 9 titles in over 60 years. So maybe the real question isn't just, why didn't Berlin or Hamburg become the next Bayern? But rather, why has the entire north struggled to keep up? The North has clubs, but it lacks a true football capital, a club that doesn't just compete but defines a region. Today, that imbalance still echoes. In 2024/25, 5 northern clubs compete in the Bundesliga: Werder Bremen, Holstein Kiel, Union Berlin, VfL Wolfsburg, and St. Pauli from Hamburg. None are commercial powerhouses operating on tight budgets. Yet Union Berlin stands out. From East Berlin obscurity to Champions League, its identity and fan base offer hope. It lacks scale and infrastructure, but the spark is there. So what's next? Maybe HSV claws back, Hertha builds wisely, or Union becomes a northern face. Whatever the path, one thing is certain. The North isn't finished. It's just waiting for someone, somewhere, to finally connect the pieces. The mystery's cracked, but not closed. Why do you think the North lags? Can Berlin or Hamburg forge a giant? Share your take below. I'm all ears. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more football deep dives.